2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No more glitching the stream for extraterrestrial content creators, supposedly. So, the wickedness has mental oblivion, and they don't know it. I'm not necessarily one to talk about the chosen ones or the chosen people, because I think that's kind of, there's a lot of fanaticism behind that too, like low key, right? People push that, and then they could inflate the chosen one with some type of ego, even though it could be kind of true. Everyone is kind of like chosen. Oh, damn it, I forgot. I forgot. Oh man, I forgot something at the yoga place. Oh man, I forgot my ring. I'll come back. I'll go back. I'm just gonna do it now. I got to do a quick one. Now I'm gonna do a 5-minute one. But chosen one or not chosen one, you have the human God-given gift to save yourself, right? Amidst this very particular game setting, amidst the very particular type of fields of distortion, right? Because anybody, no matter how good or bad you are, you're still susceptible to distorted energies and influences, and you could be pulled to that and possessed by that, right? So even if you're the goodest goody two-shoe or the baddest person, you could still be alleviated from distorted energies, or you could be influenced by distorted energies. So this was going back to the first YouTube channel principle, Meta Mindset, talking about some type of alchemy of there's energies that come and go that we could be subject to, that keep going in the mutable streams of life and the mutable bandwidth of life, and the mutable Pisces energy constellation being something like the ancestors' highway, the highway of the matrix, the highway of the dream matrix, some type of particular abstract original architect, right? Neptune and Saturn being their own right to an architect, right, within their vicinities of their selves and their infrastructures. And Neptune is in Pisces and Saturn is in Pisces. So two big architects are in the energetic highway of the dream nexus matrix, and they're home. So for some reason, when Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces, the movie that's coming to me is the movie In Time with JT. And you know, just saying that as it is. So it's like we all got to pay dues. We're just, you know, we're just a wild life creation. We're just a wild offspring creation of minnows amongst a certain type of, you know, different celestial being, and we're offsprings of that. And now somehow within chaos and mutability and change within, you know, Pisces being some type of dream nexus, and that highway spitting towards Earth and away from Earth, that Pisces highway, Neptune and Saturn are there. So it's like in time, it's like we all have to pay dues. We all have to sacrifice in Pisces type of attributes, right? We all have to sacrifice. Like, this is not necessarily just our dream. It's a collective dream. We have to sacrifice something for the greater good. We have to do some type of family work. We have to do some type of family, quote unquote, therapy for the self, not for the distorted, you know, surface level creations, right? Because Saturn is like, it's about sacrifice. You got to sacrifice different types of things. And Saturn being in Pisces is, you're going to have to sacrifice something, mutable water qualities, changing emotions. You're going to have to sacrifice your old self, but more particularly, you're going to have to sacrifice or contribute or use or work. You're going to have to put your dream on pause sometimes and work for some type of different matrix that we can't necessarily understand. Like, you know, we're all working for some type of system, but since that whole yuga, the 5200 to 52,000 years ago, since that yuga has a particular change, you could say the rules to reality are shifting more or less slightly, right? And I brushed my teeth before the yoga class, and I took a shower after the motherfucking yoga class, because obviously it's like, this fucker, don't get too washed up, you need to fucking brush up yourself type of shit, right? So within this, there's a lot of big Pisces energies within the Saturn nexus of things. So the Saturn nexus is like, we have to sometimes put, you know, we have to work for the ancestors, we have to work for the architects, right? And I forgot my fucking ring in the class. So we're working for this architect, and we are where we're at. It's like we have to like just focus on ourselves, right? So Saturn is like, regardless of the sign that he's in, it's like you have to sacrifice to try to serve and contribute to the balanced relationship to your family. But since there's a sacrifice, and the sacrifice could be used in so many different types of ways, there could be an imbalance with the family relationship and an imbalance with the relationship dynamics, because you think you could get away with something, but the matrix and the reality is changing rules, so you can't necessarily get away with something because Mercury is on patrol type of shit, right? So Saturn is about like, how will you sacrifice that shit, right? So it's like, within the bigger picture of things, there's different quote-unquote galactic lights being shined on the malevolence of that thing. No judgment in a higher perspective, right? It's just saying things as they are. So what does that mean? There's a light being shined on the distortion. No puns for fucking China, right? Even though like the scholarly, educational, high educational scholarly people in the fucking geopolitical realms, there's a lot of news in the media outlet that knows the reality of the slave workers, and however advanced within the intelligence and logic they could deliver to the collective fucking news, right? 2025 news, media hype type of shit. So there's different quote unquote galactic lights being shined upon that distortion of the slave worker mentality, and that just being what it is within Neptune being a Pisces. This is just how he's gathering up his fish, and amidst of that, there's a particular type of change within the binary star, the figure 8 binary star of the microcosm to the macrocosm. So that binary star microcosm is having a drastic shift, original open source, because obviously people will just, you know, try to baby rape content and data as is. And now we're moving into a different compartment within the macro binary star, right? So within the different compartment of the macro binary star, the rules of the reality are changing, right? So if the rules of the reality are changing, what does that mean? The chosen, the real, original, no fluff chosen people, they got the fucking wicked people confused. Why? Because the wickedness, they're choosing to fuck with distorted energies, influences, protocols, and actions and execution agendas, and they're subject to more distortion energy, so they're not enlightened to shift out of that mental oblivion. So there's a mental oblivion distortion energy has you in. They're in the wickedness has some type of mental oblivion because they're only for wickedness, right? So if you're only polarized for wickedness with no balance, you're harvesting and you're flourishing mental oblivion that will leave you numb and have amnesia to some type of God enlightenment of intelligence. Mind the context of enlightenment, right? Because that's subjective as well, right? Because you're shifting between the planetary challenges and their distortions and non-distortions. So even the best fucking guru is still subject to some shit, and they're a student to the fucking real balance gods, because they're the ones equalizing the distortion for you to even have your fucking kumbaya, namaste, love and light fucking bullshit that you're just kind of like receiving and not necessarily paying taxes, but maybe on a different esoteric accord you kind of are, because you're naturally contributing to serving the matrix by just having a standard loose standby energy, right? Just being as you are, being as you are, waving hi to the fucking, you know, the fucking I ain't gonna do shit watchers. And I don't know my purpose, and I'm gonna fucking watch you like a fucking puppy dog because I'm still trying to figure out my purpose, and I'm not gonna pay dividends because I'm some type of unique ass fucking demon. It's like, yeah, oh, now we're gonna fucking now we're gonna plan to try to fucking thwart him, sabotage him. Even now there's works to try to execute some shit, right? Execute what? You know, there's higher natural intelligence patrol officers here that had less intervention, and now there's more intervention because that was the rules of the Kali Yuga, right? So the Kali Yuga is shifting into where the rules are more or less, slightly to not slightly, they're changing. So if they're changing, that means less distortion, less malevolence gets to less distortion, and less malevolence gets lessened, or more of the malevolence and more of the distortion gets lessened, perhaps, right? It's all subjective. It gets lessened, and the malevolence and the distortion doesn't get to run as rampant because the collective intelligence and the collective benevolent light is here to check the distortion and the standard malevolence of the distorted side of Saturn, of you thinking you could try to sacrifice something and get away with it, you trying to fucking murder someone and try to get away with it. No, there's a balanced intelligent energy council that sees attempted murders, and within the surface level updated shift of the matrix system, we could see that standardly, no judgment, but that being the classification as it is. So the Saturn matrix has a pull and a standby and a stalling, but at the same time, there, in a new paradox, there's a rapid movement because time could be speeding up in one standard sense in feeling that, but time could also be slowing down depending on how the matrix got you, right? Because as you move through life and time and reality, the matrix will pause you or resume you based on the matrix and the energy karma that you're giving the matrix. And one of the grand archetypes, Neptune and Pisces, one of the grand architects is at his house. So it's like things are very, very paradoxically normal too, because Neptune is at his natural house where this is just what it is, right? But within that participation of that surface level external micro binary star, that which is physical, that physical reality is also entertaining a spiritual reality, because that's the shift of the binary star. And now the quote-unquote multidimensional Neptune could know, receive, and feel and adjust itself to the spiritual binary star. And that spiritual binary star is introducing new rules to the reality itself, right? So new rules are being introduced because there's a shift in the binary star, right? So within Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, it's like, what are we really working towards in the standard dream matrix? And the paradox of this it was how it always was, in a crazy paradox, but at the same time it's wildly different, because we're in a new timeline and we're enhancing and ascending collectively, more or less, as the timeline splits within the duality of samsara. There's a possibility for a pocket of ascension, right? So I'm fucking clarifying the ascension height with my original intelligence beyond all you fucking spiritual teachers that just receive baby rape matrix malevolent Saturn protocols, which is esoterically breaking the law. And I will not stand for this distortion bullshit anymore, motherfuckers. So that's a mini right there. So obviously I'll come back with a more structured report of this shit. And what I really want to drive home is just the astrology of moon going into Leo, of the moon is like, what are we doing for the children? What are we doing for the inner child? What are we doing for the creativity? What are we doing for the arts? How are we feeling about our self without the fucking blemish of influence? How are we feeling about, you know, the polarization of this peace treaty and this war zone, right? Because Leo is also about, okay, like there's new generations that are shy from a war, but there's still a war dynamic going on when new generations are groomed from nations. So this is some advanced Sun, Mars, Mercury, and Leo shit, right? Sun, Mars, Mercury, respectively, because Leo is about that sun, and the sun has natural conjunctions with Mars. So within that, it's like individual national, energies of the sun and their constellations. Leo is about the next generation, right? So the Leo energy is about the next generation. So within the moon and Leo coming up in a couple days, buffering, right? We're thinking about that next generation and seeing how are we going into a future timeline of some type of warfare or some type of peace treaty, or a little bit of both, between in the rough lines and the jagged lines and the jaded lines of unclear communication and clear communication with advanced esoteric geopolitical fucking esoteric science beyond 2027 Switzerland, with original perfect motherfucking comparison beyond all your fucking distorted Vaishnavite shit as well, within the paint of the intellectualness and the distorted influence. So you guys don't fucking get it. So that's why it's beyond Switzerland 2027, because it's introducing on a different preserved dimension of pure spirituality intelligence the foundation of preservation of the innovation and the intelligence, most respectively. So within Moon and Leo, it's like it's the preservation of the generations or not. And it's seeing how the future of the nations are going into some type of war or some type of peace treaty, right? So that's what the fuck is going on within the moon and Leo, coming out of the moon in Cancer. We're all fucking feeling ourselves because the moon be shifting and we be feeling different types of ways. No fucking shit. So within all of that motherfucking shit, we're gonna feel a bunch of fucking different types of motherfucking ways. But what's our way we feel? What's our stationary way we feel? That's depending on the moon sign and where Saturn and Neptune is, based on how they're establishing the matrix, and where our Saturn karma is, because the Saturn karma be dragging us around the fucking matrix without us even knowing it. We're unconscious to that, right? So within all of that being said, it's like within all of that being said, the mood is changing based on the rapid transition threshold of the esoteric astrology science that we're in. So I energetically, neutrally, I am the number one original teacher, and 98% of you world leaders have esoteric measured fear, and your countries don't need that fucking pussy ass shit. It doesn't need that shit. The new world will not handle any of this weak intelligence, this distorted intelligence, this pussy intelligence, this manipulative intelligence, this assuming intelligence of we think you're this because we're fucking so we can't even see our own distorted demonic fuck shit self, that we're just gonna assume shit and we have no idea where the real fucking battle is because we're subjective spiritual betas. So God will fucking handle all of your fucking enemies if you align with that shit, right? And may those enemies be handled perfectly, motherfuckers, respectively. So this is raw original shit. So what am I trying to say? Moon in Leo, moon in fucking Virgo. 4 days from now, we're gonna be like, oh, now we got the deets. Now we supposedly know where everything fucking goes after we got the information. And now Virgo is gonna be a secret competitive person. Virgo and Sag, the secret competitive people, right? Virgo and Sag, like, 'cause, Sag low key is like, we're gonna fucking Sag be like, Sag reminds me of Kratos from God of War for some reason. So within Sag reminding me of Kratos from God of War, they're gonna like, they want you to fucking fall in line. The Sag, they want you to fall in line. They want you to be informed. If the Sag fucks with you, they'll let you know. If the Sag doesn't fuck with you, they'll let you know. So Sag will let you know. Sagittarii, Sagai, Sega Genesis, whatever you want to call it energetically, they'll let you know whether they want to fuck with you or not, in some type of passive aggressive way or non-passive aggressive way. It just depends on their alignments, but they'll let you know, right? So within them letting you know, they'll let you know how to also exceed in the competition. The mutable signs are low-key competitive because they're moving through the transits. They're so one with the movement. You know, everyone's competitive in their own right, but that, like the mutable signs, they could have an extra edge of the competition because they're within the movement of the heat of the moment, right? So I don't know, Sag, like Kratos from God of War, he reminds me of a Sag for some reason. So it's like, you know, you never know what someone is thinking, but you kind of do because the video game propaganda is programming you to like fucking kill, quote unquote, kill type of shit. So we do know what you're thinking. The original Galactic Federation of Equilibrium, for real, they know what you're thinking with technology beyond your fucking human earthling self. That's just what it is, based on methods you can't even comprehend. So what am I trying to say here is like in the moon in Virgo, there's going to be a whole new, you know, weird, Virgo sometimes gives like weird competition anxiety vibes. And then moon in Libra is like, okay, we digested that shit. Now we know what to fucking do. And now we can work on ourselves type of shit. And we can feel good about working on ourselves. And we might get in trouble by being too, quote unquote, hedonistic maybe. And then moon in fucking, but this is the dispersing of the moon, right? So the moon is kind of dispersing itself out, and then the next new moon, which I believe is gonna be in maybe third decan Sag, but sun in Cap, then it's gonna be like, okay, things should have a very unique organization after, maybe. And this is just the astrology of it, right? So Saturn is like, you know, Saturn is adjusting deeply because of the shift of the yugas, but still his operational pool is gonna, on a different aspect of Saturn, he's gonna still make you align with some type of ancestry. Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, you're gonna align with ancestors you didn't even know they were your ancestors, because that's the Neptunian shit. So whether you fall in line or fall in suit, and shout out to the Asian intelligence, you know, spy factions. Hey, Asian intelligence spy factions, how's 2025 doing? We're coming from a real fucking spiritual future, motherfuckers. You have the best life ever. It's like, as if we didn't know that in 2018. Like, my fucking underground shit in 2018, all you scholars will get fucking, you'll start crying. Because you guys already are on a passive-aggressive level, because you don't want to fucking fight the real battle. You want to fight a fake, distorted battle. That's just what the fuck it is, right? So within, you know, the closing, or in the second, third decan of Sag, we're going to feel the life force of just kind of like, you know, getting the balanced organization from the Lodge energy. And just like kind of like, you know, seeing, you know, the sportsmanship energy, and how like, you know, the Olympian energy kind of like brings us together through community sport. And then we're going to reflect on that competition, that structured competition, Olympian energy, Sag. And then we're going to see, and then the results are going to be in Capricorn season. So this Capricorn season, wow, good luck everybody. You have the best life ever.